Just thank God for being here. Thank God for his goodness and his mercy. Just so thankful for you being with us on today. Recognizing there are many churches that you could have gone to, but we thank God, amen, that the Holy Ghost led you here. And we are here today in Jesus' name. You have your Bibles with you on today. We're asking you to turn with us in the Old Testament. 1 Samuel chapter 30. 1 Samuel chapter 30 of the said book. We're going to start reading at verse 1. At verse 1. And the word of the Lord reads, David and his men, and it came to pass when David and his men come to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had invaded the south in Ziklag, and split Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken the women's captives that were in it. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away, and went on their way. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burned with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captive. Then David and the people who were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. I want you to drop down to the 8th verse. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, Pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. So David went, he and the 600 men who were with him, and came to the brook Besor. But those that were left behind stayed. But David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 abode behind, who were so faint that they could not go over the brook Besor. You may close your book. It's from this passage of scripture I'm going to talk to you on today. I'm going to recover all that the enemy has taken from me. I want you to look at someone if you really believe that in the middle of your mind. I'm going to recover. Look at me in the face. I'm going to recover all that the enemy has taken from me. Yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I made up my mind. I'm not going to complain and sit, but I'm going to take everything back that the enemy has taken from me. It's mine. My social security now is on it. It's mine. It may not be much to anyone else, but it's mine. God gave it to me. And I know everything, that the enemy has taken from me. I want you to know that this enemy that I'm speaking of, amen, he comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. That's his influence. He doesn't matter if you know what his intent is and what he comes to do. If you can't stop it, he doesn't change. Do you hear what I said? The enemy will tell you what he's going to do, but as long as you can't stop him, he does not change.
Well,
he comes to steal, to kill,
have mercy,
and to destroy.
Amen.
If you can, you'll steal it from him. Yes. But if you can't steal it, he'll just take it. Yes. He's bodacious. He's always roaring like a lion, acting as if he got power he doesn't even have. I'm not saying he doesn't have some power, but he doesn't have all power. Then he'll come and take your stuff, and then he'll do anything about it. Yes. David was a man of God. And if you don't know who you are, people just run over over you like a Mack truck running down the freeway. But you need to understand your purpose. You need to understand that you got to pray, even if you understand that purpose. You have to pray and you have to pursue. Let's back up for a minute and let's look at the character here of David. David now has men that follow him, about 600. David is a warrior. God has anointed him and made him the man that he is. He's now running from Saul, the man that he had served for years. But now Saul is pursuing him to kill him. And David, not desirous of fighting against his leader, is running with about 600 men. And David joins up with the man who made him famous. Some things you would read in life, you will find yourself after having that encounter. Amen. God will magnify you because of your obedience to him and the victory God gave you. Amen. I'm going to say it again. God will allow what seems to be a disaster to come upon you to bless you. And people will recognize you because of your victory. Not your defeat, but your victory. Take note that when David was confronted with Goliath, there was wrong men that was running and hiding behind rocks. And here come a young man from the backside of the Judean hills that had done nothing but shepherd sheep. But while he was shepherding the sheep, he saw a lion and a bear. And God blessed him to be victorious on both occasions. And when he came to where this fight was going on between Israel and the Philistines, it came to his attention that the fight was being held up because the men were afraid to go against a giant. But David didn't have fear in him. Because God had given him victory over a lion and a bear. And when in the fight this giant he did, and not only did he fight him, he was victorious. Because the giant came with a spear in his hand. He came with coats of armor on his body. But David went in the name of the Lord with 5 smooth stones and a slingshot. And God gave him victory. Now, the ironic thing about this is that he was a Philistine from the land of God. And now David has joined himself to the Philistines and living in that land. And when Saul found out the land that he was living in, he was afraid to follow David into that land. But the king had given him a place to dwell in that was called Ziklag. Have you ever been to a place that the people you thought that loved you now are trying to divide you? The one that you served, the one that you gave your best to, now every opportunity they have, they're trying to run you down. David's a man just like we are, but when Saul was asleep on one occasion, David went into his camp and cut a piece of garment away from Saul. And when Saul recognized that this piece of garment was gone, he said, this could be no one doing but David. But even with that, the Lord told David to touch not my anointing and do my prophet no harm. Just think about it. People running you down. People saying all manner of evil against you. People trying to kill you. It was Saul that was throwing javelins at David, trying to kill him. Even when he had not done a thing. But there was a purpose. David had a calling on his life. Don't take it strange when people come at you forgetting about you. The scripture says, for God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love that you show towards his name and do show towards his people, the saints of God. God is looking and God is recording. And God had not forgotten about David. When David came to the scene and stood before the prophet, the crews of all did flow. I'm here to tell you that some things will not happen till you show up. Some things will not fall in place until you come on the scene. You're not on this scene, amen. You're not out of time, but you are in God's perfect time. And with all this going on now, David finds himself running away from Saul. He finds himself being pursued by the king of Israel. But Saul was a man that was out of tune with God. The anointing of God had left Saul, and Saul had an evil spirit on him. And because this evil spirit existed, he desired to kill David. Now David had a place called Ziklag. We all have a place we go to just to meditate, just to hear from God, just to wait on the presence of God. Here we come into the sanctuary. We come to hear from God. We come to talk to God. We come even when we are in our pains. We come when it seems like there is no hope. That's why we look to him who is alive to hope. Not only is he alive to hope, but he's a good hope. Amen. He is our blessed assurance. Amen. He is our day and our tomorrow. He's God all by himself. David had a purpose on his life. And I want to say, just because a word is spoken over your life, that doesn't mean it's going to happen that very long. Many individuals fall and faint because they can't wait. It's a blessing in waiting. It's not the most easy thing to do, but it's a blessing in waiting. Many individuals miss their blessing because they simply can't wait. Some people say they waiting, but they complain. They say they waiting, but they wanted everybody and everything else down. They get angry because people around them are getting blessed and they haven't received yours. But the good thing is this: if you're with someone and they get blessed, you need to get happy. You need to rejoice with them. Because if they're with you and get blessed, God is not a respecter of person. If he done it for one, he would do it for another. He's that kind of God. And God doesn't respect people, but he does respect faith. Faith moves God. It was this David who had a purpose in his life. David had 2 wives, and he had sons, and he had daughters. And now he returned home after 3 days. And David found out that his city has been burned. His wives had been taken. His sons and his daughters had been taken also. I want you to know, it's amazing when the enemy takes things from you. And oftentimes when an enemy takes something from you, he thinks he's too big or too strong to repay that he's taken. But the scripture tells us that when the enemy is captured, this ought to help someone. When the enemy is captured, he has to pay double for his troubles. He has to pay double for everything he has taken. So David, he cried, and his knees cried The scripture said they cried so that there was no more strength left within his body. Have you ever cried so that you couldn't cry no more, no tears would come? You cried, you wish tears would come from your body. But your tear ducts and tear glands will not produce any more tears to come out of your eyes. And all you will see is the hurt and the throbbing down on the inside. Not only did these men cry, but these men got angry. The men that you had led through victorious battles. They were hurt because they had lost their families. Their wives and children, all their livestock was gone. Because they had fallen a man. And David now only have 600 men that's following him. And these men got angry and wanted to kill David. They want to stone him because everything they had in life was gone. I just wonder, have you ever been to a place look like everything that you have is gone? You got no joy. Your family is gone. Your dwelling place has been destroyed. You don't have a confidant. You don't have a constituent. You don't have anyone you can go and talk to. No one you can confide in. The men want to destroy you. They are willing to tear you asunder. Where do I turn to when there's no one to turn to? David had to go to the Lord and pray. There are some things that come upon you that only the Lord can come
what you've been going through. I don't know how long you've been going through. Sometimes you go through so long, you become numb. Folks can say things about your neighbor. Doesn't matter. Someone can come and say some positive things. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you just hurt. Sometimes you've been wounded. Have you ever had a wound? And every time it looks like it's going to heal, someone pull the scab off. Then you just resonate in your mind, it's going to be there. But there's a place you can get it, God, that the enemy can't do you no harm. He's throwing rocks at you, he's cursing you. But it's all right. Because I'm in him.
Yes.
See, that's what the enemy doesn't want us to do. He doesn't want us to abide in